fascinating to me that here we are 12 or 13 months, however long it's been, calendar year 2025, that the Lakers are back up for sale and it's closed.
Whenever there is sports business news that breaks out in the world, I can only handle so much. There's only so much information that I can fit in this head. So there are times when I need to turn to a colleague for help, and grateful to have Paul Fritchner joining us here on the Working Lunch. It's Fritchner Friday here on The Crown. This is a themed thing that I was unaware of, that I guess is a thing now that we're doing next week. Do I need to make plans next week too?
You've seen Inception. You're a movie guy.
I am.
Okay, you just incept people's brains into knowing that today is Fritchner Friday. You concoct something out of nothing, and here you are. It's like you never know where you started, right? You get into a dream, and you just never know where you start.
It just picks up.
You're just in the middle of it. We're in the middle of a Fritchner Friday.
Well, host the Rebound Rundown, Paul Fritchner, joining us here because there's a couple topics that are sports related that I'm curious to sort of get the sports angle on. Big announcement this week that the Lakers have been sold, bought by former Disney CEO Bob Iger, along with a Kushner, who I believe is related to Jared Kushner of White House fame, for $12.5 billion. That's a lot of money for a basketball team.
It's a lot of money for a basketball team, and it's a lot of money for a basketball team that was just purchased for $10 billion 10 months ago, or a year ago, whenever it was. Recently, in 2025, the Lakers were sold and purchased for $10 billion by a previous owner who a lot of people around the league, Jack, were really excited about. It's the same owner, majority owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and obviously we've seen what the Dodgers have done recently in becoming the team to really carry the torch of Major League Baseball right now from a salary perspective. A lot of the league, a lot of the fans hate the Dodgers because they feel like they're ruining baseball. You just go out there and you throw $1 billion at somebody because you can spend the money. They're not afraid of any extra spend in baseball. They'll do whatever it takes. They defer all this money. A lot of people don't like the Dodgers for that reason, the way they have structured their contracts. But what have they done? They just keep winning when it matters in the postseason. So you look at the Lakers. They won I was about to say the national title as somebody that covers college basketball. They won the NBA Finals.
Which is a national title.
That's true.
I would give you the benefit of the
world title, for sure. Let's just wrap it all up into one.
Funny how a team from America keeps winning the world title on these things.
For sure. And they won the Larry O'Brien Trophy in the bubble in 2020. And so you're thinking to yourself, how can you kind of replicate that success going forward? They haven't had as much success in the last several seasons. They've had LeBron James, LeBron getting up there in age, obviously, but now LeBron decides to go to Philly. And where do the Lakers sit? Well, there was a lot of optimism about the future because of this ownership group that now we find out just sold. And the report was, I'm not on the inside of these things, but the report, Jack, was that this sale and these discussions didn't really get moving in full gear until Sunday, and we heard about this on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, which is a really quick turnaround. The team purchased by Mark Walter, who you mentioned, with his other sports endeavors. Talking about the money angle of this, he bought that team for $10 billion somewhat recently, and now it turns around and sells for $12.5 here in 2026. He gave a quote at the time of the sale being announced, saying that owning the Los Angeles Lakers has been one of the great honors of my life, an extraordinary investment, like the next thing that he says. It wasn't a long honor of his life, and certainly he was able to cash in on this. There is one other element on this that I guess we would be remiss if we didn't bring up when it comes to the man who is selling this team now to Iger and Kushner. Walter built his financial empire in the insurance industry. He is currently under federal investigation for alleged tax fraud by other companies tied to him. U.S. prosecutors in Manhattan are investigating. The SEC also investigating. That feels like it's going to be hard, or maybe a good reason to get a big check written to.
That was going to be my next point, is that there might be some underlying themes here as to why maybe he needed to sell the Lakers at this point. We don't know. We absolutely do not know. We're dialed into the Cincinnati business scene here. We're not as dialed in, or at least I'm not. I don't want to speak for you. Maybe you've got ties. You're a film guy. Maybe you've got ties out there in L.A. and Hollywood.
I'd rather not say.
I think there is just a very, very interesting scenario here. Not only that the Lakers are being sold right away, 12 months later, whatever it is, it's to Kushner and Iger, and somebody in Bob Iger that is very, very close. I was reading an article just before I came on here about Bob Iger and Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, saying that not only are they close professional business friends, they're vacation together close. And I think that speaks to, obviously what could be the success of this deal in the sense of getting it done. That when you have Adam Silver working with Disney, when I talked about the bubble and the Lakers winning that championship in the bubble, that was in Orlando, that was in Florida. They did that bubble in 2020 in Florida. Yeah. It was really one of the great accomplishments of the time, what the NBA was able to pull off in that COVID bubble and finish that season. And a lot of that was due to the cooperation of Disney and that facility and what Bob Iger spearheaded there doing that entire project. So, yeah, it's just fascinating to me that here we are 12 or 13 months, however long it's been, calendar year 2025, that the Lakers are back up for sale and it's closed.
And coming in, making money on it. It's not that way. Going on vacation with coworkers isn't that. Jacob Tissett and I are doing a weekend away up in Michigan next month.
I didn't get what?
Well, we talked about it. Just for perspective,
too.
I just want to say for perspective, as far as this being a $12.5 million price tag for the Lakers, in terms of local team valuation, the Bengals clocking in valued at $7.5 billion, the Reds about $1.6 billion, and FC Cincinnati estimated about $800 million for a local perspective on the value of teams.
Yeah, you would look at the Lakers, and I'm sure people sitting here would say, I was listening to Bill Simmons yesterday, one of the largest voices in sports media. Bill Simmons is obviously on the record as being his career as a diehard Celtics guy, and he was talking about, look, the Lakers and the Knicks are the two crown jewels from a value and a franchise perspective in the NBA and what they bring to the league. The Lakers are the preeminent value organization. You think of the NFL, you think the Cowboys, right? America's team.
Right.
You look at the Lakers. I'm not saying that everybody in America loves them. I'm saying that the Lakers are the notable team in the NBA from a value perspective, for sure.
Valued at $12.5 billion. So,
they're valued at what people will pay for them, and they're paying $12.5 billion.
Speaking of money and speaking of what people are willing to pay, one of the other big sports stories that has been going on for a while now is what's going on with FIFA. So FIFA had a very successful World Cup here. Everybody had a great time. It was a lot of fun. But now the backlash is really kicking in for FIFA president Gianni Infantino as he is looking to be reelected president of FIFA, while at the same time suggesting that they would make a sale to private equity, 20% to private investors. What is this?
It's
what
ridiculous.
Is this?
It's absolutely ridiculous is what this is, and I'm very glad that it is not happening. This deal is dead. It's not going to happen. But essentially, FIFA wanted to privatize a lot of the organization, and pretty much unanimously. I don't even know if there were any countries. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there were any countries or organizations. I know UEFA came out strongly against it. United States Soccer came out against it. Pretty much CONCACAF, everybody, pretty much unanimously across the board. I want to say unanimously, but I don't want to speak for it in case there were anybody in support of it. Completely against the idea of taking FIFA private necessarily, and it is a ridiculous claim. I think here I really don't even understand it. You think of FIFA or you think of soccer in the global sense. What is soccer? It's an opportunity. It's the most popular sport in the world because it gives anybody at any time at any economic level the ability to go out and be athletic and play a sport. It's as they would always say, the poor man's game, right? I mean, that's
you run around, you can play.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of discussion here in the United States with the pay-to-play and building up the infrastructure of U.S. soccer and how that all looks. But on the world stage, this is insulting to the sport of soccer, to football internationally.
So is this just, is the allegation that Infantino was going to be cashing in on a personal level, or is this him doing a favor for friends?
Take your pick.
We don't know.
Take your pick. Take your pick on that. I think it's ridiculous again. I'm glad it's not happening. I'm glad all these soccer federations very vocally came out against it in unison, said, look, if this happens, we're not going to play in the World Cup. That's what this is all built around. And not only am I going to be interested to see what happens in March when Infantino's up for re-election,
right?
Jack, I'm interested to see if off the heels of this, if he even makes it to March, or if they put him up to a vote of no confidence.
Well, so that's certainly a possibility. And then also just the idea, New Zealand, just the other day, the latest country to withdraw its support for Infantino. There's a number of countries that are calling for independent investigations, trying to find out what the origins of this are, trying to find out who's going to benefit from it, what the plan is. Not necessarily smooth sailing, coming off, again, of a very successful World Cup.
Can I withdraw my support?
You have to give it first before you can withdraw it.
Okay. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'll support him. I'm back out. There.
Yeah, it's like hokey pokey in here between
For
being
sure.
in and out.
Yeah.
I do have one other bit of news that I want to cover with you, Paul. This is a pleasant surprise because you've been asking me recently about where we're at when it comes to daylight savings time.
We're doing this live.
And I wanted to give you a special little reward on a Friday for thank you for helping us out. There is a bill that's been proposed in Congress called the Sunshine Protection Act, which would make it so daylight saving time goes all year long. This is something that we tried back in the 70s, for those of you with memories. It did pass in the House. It has not yet been picked up in the Senate. Senate Majority Leader John Thune being a little bit coy about whether or not this is going to get any support in the Senate. There's a number of senators who've already come out against it.
So that was my question to you. Is this just a headline? Is this just a press release? Is this just something that they're talking about? Or is this something that's actually going to get done? I think it is pretty clear that the way we are doing it right now is not how we should be doing it. Mm-hmm. But whether it's daylight savings time or whether it's standard time, that's the argument. And there's legitimate arguments on both sides. But the switching back and forth here, I think, is pretty universally agreed on at the top by experts that we shouldn't be doing it that way.
There are, certainly sleep experts are against it. There were a lot of reports back in the 70s when we tried this, when Congress did pass a bill for it. It ultimately got repealed because it was so unpopular. There were stories of kids walking to school in the dark and getting hit by cars. There's a number of industries that can't really get to work until the sun is up. And I was doing a little bit of research here. If this were to happen, the biggest change coming in winter, both sunrise and sunset, would shift 1 hour later. On the winter solstice in December, we would be looking at sunrise here in Cincinnati at just before 9 a.m.
I was going to say, I think if you look at the map of when sunrise happens, somebody broke it down and did all the major cities in the country of when sunrise would happen. Cincinnati and Indianapolis were by far the two hardest hit cities.
Wouldn't be great.
Because of where we are in the Eastern time zone, on the westernmost edge of the Eastern time zone. Can you imagine? They're halfway through first word and the sun's still not. We've got to change the windows back here. What are we doing?
While you were sleeping would be like a 3-hour segment, man.
The whole show is just while you slept.
As you like to say, less than ideal.
Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. The president just this week did put out some new online posting of support for it. He wants to get this done. We'll see what the Senate Majority Leader.
What do you think?
Listen, no one likes the shift in time, but this is what we're doing, and I don't. The idea that we did it before decades ago and nobody liked it, and it got passed as a law then, nobody liked it, it got repealed. That's a lot of work to do twice, and the idea of us going through that same thing again when we sort of know how this song goes, we've seen this movie before. Why would we want to chew our cabbage twice, as my mom would say?
So should we just stay on standard time?
No, I think we could just do the switch and just deal with it.
You're a big switch guy.
I'm not a big switch guy, but I'm also not a big switch to a different kind of switch. Paul Fritchner is the host of the Rebound Rundown right here on The Crown. New shows all the time. Big fast food guy, as we all know. Welcome back to the light.
Yeah, the land of power.
You're back with electricity all around. It's great. We got to take a break. We've got more Working Lunch coming up after this. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Do the big shake right on camera. Get everybody to see it.